Vortex Elite, except we start off with $3,000 cash in round 1. Sounds very easy, right? Well, here's the thing. It's on hard mode and we have to deal with 120% Vortex health, and on top of the 115% Vortex health, and not to mention the 125% Vortex speed, as if Vortex isn't fast enough. So yeah, this week's Vortex is going to be a lot more painful than you think, despite this $3,000 starting cash. Okay, so yesterday's live stream of this boss event didn't go too well, but I think I've come up with a better strategy in order to beat Vortex Elite, so let's give it a shot. Okay, so instead of relying on Geraldo, like we usually do, we're going to use Benjamin instead because he generates income over time rather than giving you a huge burst of income at the end of the game, which I think is slightly more useful, but we'll see how this fares when we come to it. But anyway, in the meantime, we're going to place our farm here, our free dark monkey right about here. We're going to place it as high as possible, and of course we're going to get our farm to a 200 as fast as we can. So let's give this a shot. Okay, so now we're starting to leak a little bit, but personally I wouldn't be too worried about it just yet. Maybe wait one more round until we get some other defenses to help out. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and grab myself more farms. At the very least, another 100 farm. Okay, so now I'm going to spend a little bit of money so that I could grab myself an engineer right over here, because at the end of the day I want to get myself a bloon trap, but not now. We're going to resume farming through our regular good old banana farm. So for now, the engineer will serve as a DPS, but he'll turn into a money maker later on. Now that I've gotten 3 200 farms, I'm going to go ahead and plop down a village right here, and I'm going to get a bottom path village, a 002 if you will. And in the meantime, I'll continue getting another 200 farm, although I will have to upgrade my engineer soon, at least to the bottom path. So let's go ahead and grab 002 engineer so that it's easier for us to pop the bloons and leak a lot less. So on screen right now I have 5 200 farms, and now I'm going to start upgrading each and every one of them to marketplaces, because marketplaces are the most reliable source of income generation since Ninja Kiri decided to nerf banks for some reason in the previous update. Before I continue, I of course have to upgrade my defenses, so in this case I'm going to get myself a double gun. And soon enough we're going to get a bloon trap, but that's before round 28. So in the meantime I'm going to get a few more marketplaces. Okay, so now at round 27 I can afford a bloon trap, but I'm also going to get larger service area just so that I could place the bloon trap in this intersection. And now we're going to continue upgrading our farms to a 203 farm. Actually, you know what, it probably helps you place it slightly further in front just so that you can gain a little bit more cash. And now that we've gotten all 5 marketplaces, we're going to get bigger radius so that we could place down more farms. And since we have a leaking camel bloon, I'm just going to place down an alchemist here to simplify matters. And we're going to continue placing down more farms. We're going to get as many 203 farms as we can. As for round 33 camel bloons, we're just going to go ahead and place down a ninja right here. And we're going to get this fella, a 100 ninja. That should be more than enough for the time being. Okay, so now it's round 36 and I finally have 9 203 farms, which should net me a lot of money should I decide to sell it. But of course I'm not going to sell it just yet. In the meantime, we're going to get sharp shurikens just so that it's easier for us to deal with round 37. And for now, let's think of our defenses for tier 1. I think it's best if we go for the usual defense, as to say a 205 elite defender, but of course we're going to have to micro a little bit between first and strong. For the most part we're going to leave this fella on strong, but there's going to be some cases where you want to send him to first because too many bloons will leak, and you want some bloons to leak because the elite defender will grant 4 times attack speed when bloons leak. Henceforth, it's best if we let, like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 red bloons leak or something like that. So now that it's round 40, it's time for us to sell some farms. We're going to sell the ones that is closer to the village because we're going to make use of the village again later on. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and grab ourselves 1 times elite defender. And we're now going to set this fella to strong, and we'll see how well this goes. We're definitely going to leak a little bit, but as I mentioned earlier, that is fine. So around 42, I've decided to get a 320 ninja, or upgrade to 320 just so that we could deal with the camel bloons. Now, I don't think we have to worry much about 143. but as you can see, we're going to leak a little bit, so let's micro bit between first and strong. But remember, we want some bloons to leak, not a lot, just so that it could gain the 4 times attack buff. And with that, we have defeated Vortex Elite Tier 1. And now, I'm going to sell our Elite Defender for a farm. And this time we're going to get a bunch of 420 farms, as many as we possibly can. We want to get all of them within range of this village as much as possible, so let's go ahead and do just that. Now we're going to have to sell some of our previous farms, our 203 farms, to make way for these fellas. Now, once you've gotten yourselves to 420 farms, I'm going to go ahead and get a 10, or rather upgrade this village to a 104, just because it generates a lot more money. Voila. Okay, so now we need to actually work on improving our defenses ever so slightly. So this one is going to be slightly easier. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place down another engineer right here, and we're going to make it target here instead. Now we don't have to worry about camo bloons yet, because the 320 will do a good job at helping us decamo bloons, so you don't have to worry about selling them. So let's go ahead and sell more of our farms so that we could place down more farms. As for our anti-MOAB defense, we're going to get a Dark Monkey order, make use of our free Dark Monkey, and upgrade this fella to a 004 fella. And this should help us deal with the MOAB pretty easily. If need be, we can go ahead and upgrade this to a 024, but I don't think we need to, at least not now. Now, I might notice we're slightly running out of range, so what we can do is I've decided to place down another village, so that such as within range of this monkey city, so that I could place down another BRF within range of the village, of course. Now with that is pretty much all the range. Oh, actually we can place another BRF here. And if this is all the BRFs we could place. I mean, of course we could place down a BRF where the village is, but well, we can't need that village to boost the village. But anyway, it's now time for us to think about our tier 2 defenses. So what are we going to get? We are going to get a mat. So as for our mat placements, it's going to be right here, and we're also going to sell 2 of our farms. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves a 250 mat, and of course we're going to buff it twice. One with jungle jump, since we already have bigger radius here, we can just make use of this village. And of course I'll buff it. A 401 will do just fine. And of course, this is not all the defenses we're going to get. We are also going to grab ourselves a single ring of fire. A 401 will do. Now to help us out, because it is Vortex and all bloons are sped up, we're going to get ourselves a middle path bloon sabotage, as many as possible. Well, I mean, in this case we're only getting 3, but still, as many as possible. Now, besides that, we're going to have to focus on farming and getting our ninjas at the same time. Or other farming and dealing with Vortex at the same time. So let's go ahead and do just that. Now once I've gotten all 3 of these ninjas, I'm going to go ahead and resume farming. So we're going to continue getting our 420 farms, or rather we buy them. We're going to use the Bloons sabotage ability for every ceramic wave, well, as long as there's not a sabotage already available. So that's exactly what we're going to do in order to help us deal with round 63. And for round 63, you want to place a bomb shooter right here. And we're going to upgrade this fella to a 204, and we're going to make use of the ability at last, the ninja ability. This will help us slow down the bloons and, you know, deal with the round 63 cell mix. Now for round 64, we're going to once again use the ability. This is so that we can deal with the MOABs much more easily. And there you go, that's it for the most part. Round 65 should be a breeze, because you should be able to deal with Vortex by the time round 65 ends. And voila, we managed to defeat Vortex by a clutch. And now we can get rid of the mat, we don't need the ninjas anymore. And now it's time for us to buy our defenses in its proper places. First off, 2 recursive clusters. There we go. We're going to get rid of this fella. Instead, we're going to get ourselves a 204 overdrive, and we're going to support this with a village, a 320 village. And now let's get ourselves a maxed out monkey Calplus, and we're going to buff it with another monkey city within range. And also we can get rid of this and this, and that's it. This defense should be able to last us until round 80, and we already got a pretty good head start in terms of farming. Not the best, but still pretty good all in all. So what we're going to do is we're going to save up for a Banana Central, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we managed to get our Banana Central by round 69, which is on par with our normal one, meaning that we are so far in a pretty good position. So now, we're going to continue getting as many 420 farms as possible, and of course all these 420 farms has to be within range of these villagers. So this is how the my state of farming looks like at round 77, and we are in a pretty good shape. So we're going to go ahead and get our defenses for tier 3, and that is a Boomerang Paragon, because there really isn't any other choices there. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a degree 1 Paragon, which should be more than enough for us to deal with Vortex. Now, the location of our Paragon is going to be here. This is so that we won't get easily stunned by Vortex, or this fella won't get stunned by Vortex easily. So let's turn off auto start and wait until round 80. So now let's go ahead and sell all of our defenses, excluding the boomerangs, and let's see how many farms it takes for us to sell before we can afford our Boomerang Paragon. Well, we're left over with 1 Banana Central and 1 BRF, which is already pretty good, all things considered. So let's go ahead and get ourselves the Glaive Dominus, set this fella to strong, and let's deal with Vortex. And in the meantime, of course, we're going to rebuy all our farms. Now this time, the first farm that we want to get is immediately a Monkey Wall Street. So let's go ahead and grab that. And now, once we've got the Monkey Wall Street, we can go ahead and rebuy the rest of our 420 farms. Okay, so since Vortex is going to stun our Boomerang Paragon, not to worry, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce the Arctic Wind, and we're going to get Permafrost at the same time. This will help us slow down the balloons while this fella regenerates, or rather stops getting stunned. And voila, tier 3 is defeated. So now let's go ahead and sell our Boomerang Paragon, which we do not need anymore. And we can sell our Ice Monkey once it is unstunned itself. And we're going to go ahead and get our defenses for tier 4. And it's actually pretty simple. It's going to be this fella, the Ace. Go and place it right here. And we're going to get a Flying Fortress set to Wing Monkey, or Figure 8, Figure Infinite, either one works. Now, we're not going to upgrade it to a top path yet. We're going to wait until round 90 before we give it some camo defenses. So, in the meantime, let's go ahead and spend all this money on our farms. So what I usually do is I get the villagers, I place on all the farms and villagers first, and then I upgrade the villagers that's closest to the farms first before I upgrade the nearby farms. So this way, the upgrades will be cheaper and I get to maximize my farm revenue. And also, in case you guys didn't notice, I didn't turn on auto start. The reason is because in between rounds you'll probably get a lot of money, and therefore you want to get yourselves, or rather you want to spend the time to actually upgrade your farms proper, especially since this boss is pretty darn hard, all things considered. As you guys could notice, it's round 90, so our village is already being placed here, so we can't exactly place another village. But what we can do is we can get some other forms of the camos for the time being. So we can get a Shimmer, and that should work out just fine. Anyway, this is all the farms that you could get. I didn't place a farm here because we might need to use it for Paragon placement later on. So in the meantime, I decided to sell the wizard. Should place it in a better spot, honestly. So let's go ahead and place this fella here. And we're going to go ahead and start saving up for our first Paragon, and that is the Ninja Paragon. So we're going to go ahead and do just that. Now for the Paragon sacrifice, you're going to need to get as many 0 to 4 ninjas, at the very least 17 of them. And yeah, as for the location of our Ninja Paragon, it's going to be right here, the location of the Master Bomber. So let's go ahead and save up for the Ascended Shadow. Okay, so now it's 198 and we got enough money to get ourselves the Ascended Shadow, and we got Degree 30, which is not too bad, all things considered. What you do is get the Dark Paragon. Now don't forget, if you have the Crossbow Master Monkey knowledge, you can place down 2 Crossbow Masters, and that will increase your Paragon degree by a lot. We're going to place an Ultra Juggernaut here. This is so that we can deal with any leaking balloons in case this fella gets stunned. And for all sacrifices, we're going to get as many 204 or 042 Dark Monkeys as possible. For safety measures, I've also decided to get myself a Perma Spike set to Smart because you might leak a few balloons, so it's better safe than sorry. See, the Perma Spike is indeed very useful. Look at the amount of leaking DDTs, like come on. Anyway, as for the location of our Dark Paragon, we're going to get this fella right here, the Apex Plasma Master. So let's go ahead and do just that. And we got Degree 39, even though it's stunned right now, but not to worry, it'll become unstunned quite soon. And this is clutch. We managed to defeat Vortex in time. Now, of course, we've defeated tier 4, but there's of course another way you could play it, and that is you could sell your farm so that you could afford the Apex Plus 1 Master ASAP. You're going to lose a bit of income, but you will be able to make it, or rather it's safer for you to defeat a Vortex earlier if you so choose. But in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. As long as you can get Vortex before it reaches the end of the track, you've technically beaten it. So now, on to our final defenses. Our next Paragon we're going to get is the Engineer Paragon, because frankly, there's only 5 Paragons you can get, minus the Bolt Paragon, and the Boomerang Paragon is the weakest of them all. So yeah, we're going to go with Engineer Paragon. As for its location, it doesn't really matter, so we're going to place it right here. Now for our sacrifices, we're going to get as many 042 engineers. Technically, 240 engineers are better, but 042 makes it a lot less laggy because then it won't spawn sentries. And now, moment of truth. What degree Engineer Paragon will we get? We got a degree 30, which is also not too bad. So now we're going to go ahead and place down all the turrets. As for turret location, again, doesn't matter, so we're going to place them in the actual middle of the map. Okay, so as you guys have noticed, I kind of failed. Mostly because my Paragons constantly get stunned. So I've done something different. I've restarted. Same strategy for tier 1 to 4, except I've placed the Paragons at far away locations from each other in the highly unlikely event that they got stunned. Now, guess what is going to happen differently? We are going to sell off all of our farms at round 119 instead of round 120. The reason for this is so that the abilities will come up a bit faster and therefore make our lives slightly easier. So with that being said, we have $2.1 million in cash, which is slightly more than what we had previously. So we could still go with roughly the same strategy. So as for the location of our Ace Paragon, I think it's pretty obvious it's going to be here. So let's go ahead and grab that. And there we go. This is our Goliath Doom ship, and it's a degree 48, so roughly the same as previously. Now we're still going to set the wing monkey over here. We're still going to set the wing monkey and let it face over here, and in the meantime we're still going to get our bonus defenses. So here's how our defenses currently look like. Besides the Goliath Doom ship and of course all the other Paragons, we got an Avatar of Wolf that's supported by everything else: Infernal Wing, Super Brittle, supported by 1 primary mentoring. We got 2 Dartling Gunners, 1 is a Mat, the other is a Way of Doom, 1 Flying Fortress, set to Wing Monkey, figure Infinite and 8 also works. We got a P-Boo right here, and we finally got Crippled MOAB, and of course the Glue Storm. Now we're going to have to constantly activate. Let's actually do 190 in the meantime. So we're going to have to activate all the abilities as much as we can and as quickly as we can. So yeah, this is something that we have to take note of. And as you can see, now there's 120. We got the Goliath Doom ship ability up and running immediately. So it's a pretty good start, all things considered. So let's retarget the ability here. And we're going to start using all the abilities as mentioned above. So let's go ahead and get started using them. Okay, and now let's activate these abilities immediately. Most important of which is this Goliath Doom ship ability. You need to activate its ability constantly for this to work, and I mean constantly. If you miss even half a second, then you're dead. Why? Because you can activate its ability one last time when it reaches right at the end of the track, and that is how you're going to kill it. This clutch ability is the only way you can kill Vortex. Okay, so Vortex is very close to the exit, but we are also very close to killing it. Can we get our ability up in time is the question, and seems like the answer is yes, and we can activate its ability right before Vortex reaches the exit. And there we go. Extremely difficult and painful boss one, but we did it. Yeah, without using any powers. So yeah. Oh my god, it is insanely difficult, I must say, but is the reward worth it? It doesn't look like it, honestly, but hey, 50 trophies for all this hard work, isn't that something, folks? And yeah, it's pretty disappointing rewards for the amount of effort you have to put in, but still, I'd say that it's a pretty interesting boss run regardless. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like if you like this video, leave a comment if you have anything else to add, and I'll see you guys in the next video.